A bombshell revelation has rocked the UK political landscape as the Southport attacker was officially charged under the Terrorism Act. Allegations have surfaced that Prime Minister Keir Starmer and Home Secretary Yvette were aware of the attacker's affiliations but failed to disclose key details to the public. The controversy has ignited a storm of criticism, with leaders from the Conservative Party and Reform UK pressing Starmer to provide transparency on the matter. Ahead of Prime Minister's questions, PMQs, however, the Speaker implemented restrictions due to the ongoing investigation, barring any direct questions on the case. Richard Tice managed to skirt these limits, raising the issue indirectly, which led to a carefully worded response from the Prime Minister. In today's video, we'll delve into Keir Starmer's response, Richard Tice's pointed questioning, and the Speaker's critical statement, along with key updates from around the country. Before we get started, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and join our rapidly growing community. Ahead of Prime Minister's questions, PMQs, the Speaker reminded Parliament that while it holds a vital role in scrutinising national security matters, the Southport case's active judicial proceedings demand caution to prevent prejudicing the trial. His statement underscored the importance of respecting the judicial process as MPs addressed heightened public concerns over transparency and accountability. Richard Tice questioned Starmer directly, asking if he supported the principle of promptly releasing information in terrorism cases, a recommendation recently put forth by Jonathan Hall KC, the government's independent reviewer of terrorism legislation. Hall's advice emphasises that timely disclosure is essential to uphold public trust in security matters. Starmer's response, however, sidestepped the specifics, shifting instead to a broader endorsement of supporting police and prosecutorial efforts. While his approach emphasized the importance of law enforcement's work, it left questions about transparency in terrorism cases unanswered, a decision that sparked debate over whether his response was overly cautious. Following Starmer's comments, the Speaker reiterated the necessity for caution, reminding MPs that the Southport incident remains a live legal case and that discussions should avoid compromising the trial. The Speaker assured members that ministers would be called to address Parliament with details about the case once proceedings conclude, with the trial expected to begin in January. His remarks served as a poignant reminder of the victims affected by the tragedy, emphasising that achieving justice for the families remains Parliament's priority. This session revealed the complexities of balancing transparency with judicial integrity, especially in cases that touch on national security and public safety. With public pressure mounting, the government will likely face increasing calls for accountability as the legal proceedings move forward. British motorists are bracing for a range of new driving laws set to roll out as part of Labour's upcoming budget, with Chancellor Rachel Reeves tackling a substantial £22 billion funding gap. Potential measures could include fuel duty hikes and revised car tax structures. The anticipated budget may also introduce changes in car insurance premiums, which could see increases to offset rising infrastructure costs, alongside expanded support for public electric vehicle EV charging stations to encourage a shift towards sustainable transportation. Prime Minister Keir Starmer has presented this budget as a forward-looking plan, aiming to reinvest in Britain's ageing infrastructure. His pledge includes improvements to essential services, with funding directed towards schools, hospitals, and roads. Central to Labour's modernisation strategy is a set of new regulations designed to enhance the EV charging experience. These regulations will mandate reliability standards for EV charging stations nationwide, an effort to make public charging more efficient, accessible, and trustworthy for drivers transitioning to electric vehicles. Labour's budget underscores its commitment to addressing both environmental and economic priorities, striving to balance the need for sustainable transportation with the financial realities facing British motorists. The anticipated changes signal a transformative period for the UK's driving landscape, as traditional fuel costs may rise, and new incentives for electric vehicles take centre stage. As the nation prepares for these shifts, drivers will need to stay informed about upcoming laws and their potential impacts on daily travel and long-term vehicle choices. Meanwhile, on the international stage, the United States is gearing up for a high-stakes presidential election, where Democratic Vice President Kamala Harris faces off against former President Donald Trump. Both campaigns are zeroing in on energy policy as a defining issue, with markedly different visions for the nation's energy future. Trump and his running mate, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, have taken a firm stance against electric vehicle EV subsidies, arguing that such initiatives inflate costs and hinder domestic energy independence. They advocate for a stronger reliance on traditional energy sources, citing a need to reduce regulatory constraints on oil and gas production to lower energy prices for American families. In contrast, Harris and her vice presidential pick, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, have emphasized a commitment to expanding EV adoption as part of a broader shift towards sustainable energy. Their platform includes targeted subsidies to make EVs more accessible and to build out EV infrastructure nationwide. They also propose stricter import measures to counter what they describe as a growing influx of cheaper Chinese-made EVs, seeking to bolster American manufacturing and protect domestic markets. As energy policy continues to polarize voters, the candidates' contrasting approaches highlight the broader debate on climate responsibility, economic resilience, and technological innovation. How do you think the US should balance sustainable energy goals with energy independence? Share your thoughts in the comments below. In royal news, Prince Harry's decision not to add new content to the re-release of his memoir Spare has drawn mixed reactions. The paperback edition, controversial for its candid portrayal of royal life, will go forward without any promotional push from Harry, a choice that royal historian Richard Fitzwilliams described as a relief. Fitzwilliams believes that Harry's restraint in publicly promoting the memoir could help ease tensions within the royal family, noting that the memoir's initial release brought intense scrutiny and criticism. Meanwhile, Prince William's recent mention of Harry in his ITV documentary on homelessness has also sparked interest, as it marks the first time in 6 years that William has publicly referenced his estranged brother. Fitzwilliams interpreted this gesture as a possible olive branch, suggesting that William's mention of Harry might be a subtle step toward reconciliation. For many royal watchers, the mention feels like a poignant moment, signaling that despite the long-standing rift, there may still be hope for mending their relationship. Keir Starmer's handling of the Southport case and the Speaker's decision to restrict parliamentary debate have sparked intense debate, showcasing the tension between legal and democratic processes. Starmer's approach, balancing transparency with legal prudence, reflects his background in law, though critics argue it may come off as overly cautious. The Speaker's restrictions add to the controversy, as many believe open debate is essential for such a high-stakes issue. Together, these actions highlight the complex challenge of managing high-profile cases without compromising parliamentary freedom. On the economic front, the upcoming budget changes for motorists and pensioners signal a mixed bag of reforms. For motorists, there's concern over rising fuel taxes or potential restrictions that could increase costs during a time of high living expenses. Pensioners, meanwhile, await potential adjustments to their benefits, a delicate matter in an aging society where the cost of living remains a pressing issue. These changes may affect not just personal finances, but also broader public sentiment, especially as the government tries to balance fiscal responsibility with support for key voter groups. As for Prince William's mention of Harry, this could be an olive branch, a small but meaningful gesture. The brothers' relationship has been under scrutiny for years, so even brief acknowledgements spark hope that they may bridge their differences. Family dynamics are complex, but these public gestures might pave the way for a future reconciliation, especially as they navigate personal and royal responsibilities. Thank you for being a part of our community. We strive to keep you informed and engaged with the latest updates and insights. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more in-depth coverage of British politics and social issues. Take care and see you next time.